Hi, Evie.
Hi, Yvonne.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are things? And yeah, and once again, I managed not to have my notes open. So lead the way.
Excellent. So warm welcome to anyone and everyone who is tuning in or who watches this on replay. We're always thankful for any interactions, of course. We are here every week as part of our Permission to Thrive community. And what we've been doing for the past, goodness, I think it's been like 16 weeks, we've been myth busting. So looking at some of those phrases, the narratives, the stories that keep on coming up for us and from which we are living our lives. And many of these phrases, these stories, are actually stopping us from really stepping into our full potential. They're keeping us caged, they're keeping us small, they are blocking out opportunities, because I think that for me is like a big thing. They're blocking out opportunities that are like on the edges, on the fringes, waiting to come in. But until we open ourselves up to them, we don't see them, or we reject them. And these phrases allow us to do the rejecting. So we kind of look at these phrases, we unpack 2 a week, each focused around a particular title or subject. And this week, it's the deserving dilemma. So how much we think we deserve or don't deserve. And I'll just mention the first one and then we can just dive in. So the first phrase is, I haven't earned this. I haven't earned this. So over to you, Evie. What if anything comes up for you personally or for clients who you've helped?
Yeah, I mean, this is like the very typical imposter syndrome, isn't it? That's what like it's a very trendy type of expression that we have seen used in the last few years. But the bottom line is that what is the imposter syndrome is that sense of not having earned what you are given, or how you like how others see you, because there is a gap between how you see yourself and how others see you. And when that happens, it becomes like a big internal battle, because what it is that you want to show up the way that others see you. You want to not let anyone down, because that is the other narrative that is going around your head. But at the same time, when you are in your head and you are with your own thoughts, you're thinking, nah, how can this be? How can this good thing be? Because I have not really earned this. I am not the person that these people are thinking I am. I don't have the knowledge that these people are thinking I have. I don't necessarily show up in the way these people think I show up. And it can be like so on and on and on. So yeah. That's how I see it with my clients very often, especially when it comes to business and going, like to, let's say, what type of position am I going to apply for and why. So this is where you can see it very, very strongly appearing. And it's a good excuse, because it keeps you nice and small.
And it also talks into that sense of worth, doesn't it? That self-worth, I haven't earned this. And I again, from a personal perspective, certainly not in recent times, but I can go back into my 20s and 30s when really great opportunities would come up. Now, I would seize them because I was always, my restless would be like, yeah, go do, go do that thing. So I would always have the restless, which would almost encourage me to go and do all this stuff. However, my judge would be saying, who are you? But hold on a moment. Why do you think you should have this opportunity when you haven't done this, or you did do that, or you haven't said this, or you did say that? So my judge would definitely be playing hardball and be looking for all the reasons why I hadn't earned the right to do this thing. And so I guess at this point, that was probably a good playoff for my for my restless to actually be saying, go jump in, go jump in, go do it. So actually, interestingly, to see the dynamics of those two saboteurs playing out in very different ways. And I didn't realize that at the time. If I knew then what I know now, but as I look back on it now, I can see that was like a real battle, an internal battle. It was go do, and I often would, just because I thought, well, I may never get this opportunity again. So my natural thinking was, what if you never get this opportunity again? Go try it. So there was, which I think is part of my natural personality, who I am. And then, of course, the restless would amp that up. But then I would always have the judge that would be saying, you haven't done enough yet. You haven't proved yourself. Who do you think you are? All of those things. So I can see how this really gets in the way of progression, how this really stops us from taking the opportunities, or even seeing the opportunities, seeing what is possible for us, when we have this voice that is constantly saying, you have to earn this, you have to earn that, and you haven't done enough yet. And the judge tends to be that harsh, you haven't done enough yet, it's too soon.
That's the thing. I think that it's also because we tend to connect events and times in our life that they need to happen, or that is expected that they happen. So if you are too young, if you are too old, if you are this, if you are that, then that doesn't necessarily connect with what you want to do and what the expectation is, and that creates a big gap there. But how do you, like, clearly you are this type of character, Yvonne, that you would go and do and it wouldn't matter. And I'm sure, like, you had a lot of success also when you did not hear your judge and you just jumped and did something that even made you feel uncomfortable. I even remember some time ago that you had set yourself this goal that every month you do something that it will make you very uncomfortable and get you out of your comfort zone. So what happened? Like, I really, I'm so interested to find out, like, every time that you succeeded, how did this play in the next time the judge was coming out when you wanted to do something new?
I think I learned to, and I'm not going to say ignore, because that's probably not the right word, but if I was listening to both voices, and if I picture them as being these two voices, and so actually at this point my restless almost felt like my sage, because it was encouraging me to go forth and do things. And if I was listening to these two voices, I would always be, well, whether I think I'm deserving of it or not, I'm going to do it anyway, because it's come to me. Therefore, I'm going to do it. So there was just a little bit of, you don't get to tell me, but I didn't have that conversation. It was just like, but it's here. Somebody's asking me, or somebody's given me this opportunity. Why would I not take it? But however, what I will say is there would sometimes be some guilt attached to that. Like, but what if it wasn't for me? Maybe I shouldn't have taken it. Maybe I don't know enough. So I would sometimes have to deal with that. But I think my natural personality with the restless, or I would just say my sage probably, with the help of my restless in this situation, would just say, do it anyway. And then once I had a success at doing something, and I can take even when I was in competitive sports, and I was resisting doing it in the first place, didn't even want to get involved, because I was thinking, who the hell am I to go on a stage and do this thing? Because, like, no, I haven't trained for it. I don't even know what I'm doing. Why would I do that? Why would I do that? And then a week before the first competition, I just said, okay, I'll do it. So that was like lastminute.com. So if ever you had less time to prepare, that was it. 1 week. It's just like, okay. And then I went and I did it and I won that particular competition. Then I got invited to another one. And then there was that part of me that came up that just said, actually, this is just playful. Just play with it. You don't have to tie anything. You don't have to cement anything to this. Just let it unfold. So there was a part of me that just started to say, let's just play. Let's be playful. Let's let it unfold, see what happens. And that's how I started to really approach any of those things. When that feeling came up and I was getting this, you haven't done enough, you haven't earned, you haven't practiced, you haven't blah, blah, blah. I'd be like, well, I'm going to do it anyway. Because at that point, I just thought I can do it and it'll go really well. Or I can do it and it'll go to the wall. But at least I did it. I kind of started to get to that place where that was it, and that was okay for me.
But this is wonderful, especially because you are the type of character that you are. If you had much higher sense of guilt or all sorts of other things, probably, or different types of saboteurs that would be running you at that time, probably you would have stopped yourself from, taking the leap. And 1 week, you would be like, oh my God, 1 week, there's no way I'm doing any of this. And then you would have lost the opportunity. But what I want to really touch on here, and that's why I asked you this, is that even people that have no idea about the work that we do, like you did at that time, they can really, they have that sense or that discussion with themselves, and they have the opportunity to either take that chance or not. But the more chances that we get, I suppose, gives us also more evidence to become more playful. Because maybe if you had not won that first competition, you'd say, oh, you see, I was right. So that's it. I'm not doing any of these things ever again. But the moment you get some evidence, the moment you are really seeing that, well, it didn't really kill me, and I had fun, and it was all right. And even if I had not won like the first thing, that's okay. So you are more willing to get the lesson from whatever it is that you are having or what is holding you back. But like what I always say to my, clients when they get to that stage, because you touched on that very, very word that I don't particularly like, guilt. I don't feel that guilt really does anything for us. It is really like, it doesn't, and I'll explain it again here. It doesn't, because when you feel guilty for something that happened, right? Okay. So can you change it? No. Can you do something about it from here on forward? Yes. So why should you feel guilty about that? Let's just like use the guilt to actually do something about it instead of just staying with a feeling of guilt, because that also keeps you like almost like it stops you from acting. So it's not the way to be. So what I usually say to my clients when they get to that stage, like, well, if you don't do it for you, and if you don't show up for you, fine. You don't have you don't think, you don't feel that you have what it takes. Well, what are other people saying? What would they say, or what wouldn't they have if you had not showed up imperfectly as you have showed up? And this shifts the narrative, because again, you don't do it for you. You do it for somebody else. And that is so much easier. So
yeah. And ultimately we're here to serve. So I do believe that the purpose of us having purpose is so that we can show up and serve. we may be the imperfect beings that we are, because we are. That doesn't mean to say that we don't have gifts, knowledge, skills that others will benefit from. And so, the guilt, the shame, the not enoughness, all of those things that come up for most of us in some shape or form. There is something in our history, in our stories, in our experiences that kind of layer that up inside of us. They're not meant to stop you. That they are almost, if you go back to why those things happened or how they happened, what is it that you need to take from it? And this is very different for everybody, because there are people who are carrying shame and guilt that is not even theirs to carry, right, from other people's actions and behaviors. So I want to make that really clear. What are the lessons that I can take from those things? And like you said, what does that mean for me today going forward? Because what's been has been. There is no going back and changing any of that. So I can only say, what can I take as a lesson from that? And how do I take that forward? How do I become, and in my language, how do I become a better human being because of it, not in spite of it? How does that work? And then do that. And this thing about, what is it that you think you have to earn? Show up and be and go do and have the experience. And just be curious about what that might look like, instead of, I'm going to go and do it, and now my expectation is this. So like when I did that first show, I didn't expect to win. There was no expectation. It was like, I've decided to do it. I'm going to go do it. Let's see what happens. I got a win. Great. But actually, I enjoyed the process. Although it was only a week, I actually did enjoy that week leading up to. So yeah, I haven't earned this, for me, is just one of those deeply restricting stories that can not only stop you from growing, but stop you from sharing what is inside of you.
Yeah, that's so powerful. And I love what you're saying, is that you enjoy the process.
Yeah.
No matter what we do and how we show up or where we want to get to, it's not really about the end result. If we learn to enjoy the process, immaterial of the end result, we will always have gained something. And this is so important for all of us to know, because there are no winners and losers at the end of the day, if there is always something to gain. And that is that. And I always speak about this when it comes to self-worth, because other people will value us, and will value us sometimes way more than we value ourselves. But what we see for ourselves is a very intimate thing, and it's a thing that no one else can actually do for us. And that's why it's so important.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I think for anyone who has used that phrase or a similar phrase, that's come up for them, and they can feel it internally, where how many times has that played out for me? I haven't earned this. Is to realize that you are worthy. You're just worthy because you are. You don't have to have done, have to have been, have to have achieved. You are. Therefore, if you get the call, go answer it, because it's coming to you for a reason, right?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So, phrase 2. Others need it more than I do.
That plays on our altruistic thing. How do you call it? Feeling, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I can see that I have really felt that, and I have really said that to myself. But the thing is that you need to really unpack this. You really need to see why. And if it is the avoidance that is playing, then you need to really dig deeper, because others, yeah, but might need it more. But if you get it and you understand that others need it, you'll share it. That's the whole point, right? And that's why we love collaborating. That's why we love being in a community, because we understand the importance of like everybody having opportunities, everybody sharing. But that doesn't mean, you know, like you need to extract yourself of the thing because others need it. You know, others can't have it as much as you can. And others are worthy having it as much as you are. So
yeah, and there's a couple of things around there that I wanted to speak into, because it's also, if an opportunity arises and, you know, oh no, others need it more than I do, and you can do this from that pleaser perspective. So the person who just, no, I'll just keep on pouring out and I don't need it, I'm fine, or the avoider, like, oh my goodness. Here's the thing, every time you deflect, every time you push away the opportunity, the resource, the help, the care, whatever, you are not just pushing it away in that instance, you're pushing it away for time to come, right? Because then you suddenly wonder why doesn't anyone care? Why isn't anybody offering help? Why is it? Well, because you keep on pushing it away. If you keep on pushing it away, at some point, it's not going to show up anymore. So we need to be able to, when it lands at your feet, at your door, welcome it, accept it, be thankful and grateful for it. And I think, like you were saying, Evie, in that moment, if you receive something that you think, oh, there are others that probably need it way more than I do, then be the torchbearer for it. Be the front runner for it. Take it, go help those very people that you're talking about, because you can do that too. Instead of feeling that, you know, that pushing it away is the better thing to do. Because the reality is, whatever it is, there is enough for all of us. And we forget that. There is enough for all of us. And so, you know, others need it more. Yeah, maybe they do. Others need it more. They need the money more. They need the job more. They need the blah, blah more. Well, here's the thing. Why can't you accept it and then go do something for those people? That's us being in service.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And there was something that came to my mind and just went like, you know, it does. As you were talking there, but like the whole point is that you need to really understand. Do you avoid it because you feel you are not able to do something? So it's easier to say, well, you know, others need it more, and you don't want to take the responsibility of maybe, you know, like creating that circumstance where others can benefit as well? Or what is the reason? Generally speaking, you know, altruism, I think is a huge thing, and for me it's like very important, because we need to be in a position to share, to give, to celebrate all together, to do all of these things, and it's absolutely fine. But when it comes as an excuse, then it's not good. And I wonder if this is, you know, a phrase that can be attached to something that we say in English. I don't even know if it will make any sense in English, but I'll say it anyway. So we have this expression saying, whatever the fox cannot reach, it just, you know, doesn't care about them, or acts as if she doesn't care about them. And that is, I think, to me, that's what this could be. I'm not saying that this is always the case, but it feels like this type of expression is more about that, because otherwise also, you know, as you said, Yvonne, there is always a lot or enough for anyone. And that's what we are always talking, you know, about the abundance mindset, right?
Yes.
We're talking about growth mindset. Everything else just keeps us small, stagnant, and not developing. So
Absolutely.
this
Yeah.
was what I was thinking earlier. It's like the abundance of things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because
And if we don't open ourselves up to receiving and we just keep on giving, this is how we end up with the burnout. This is how we end up with, you know, feeling highly stressed. It's because there's just this outpouring and rejection of what could come in. And actually, it's a cycle. It's a cycle, the giving and the receiving. It's the giving and receiving. Everything is cyclical. Why do we not open ourselves up to that? Because that's the reality. So when opportunities, help, resources present themselves, welcome them in with gratitude. Be really thankful, but welcome them in. They're coming to you for a reason. There is a reason they've landed with you. So take it wholeheartedly and then see where you're going to use that in your outpouring, right? So it doesn't stay with you. It's going to go in that cycle. It's going to go in the giving and the receiving of. And I think when we can really open ourselves up to that, and like you said, the abundance mindset, then we realize that it's not about whether others need it more than I do. It's if I get it, what can I do with it? What does that look like? How do I now pour that out and help others?
yeah, 100%. But that's what we always talk about, isn't it? Like, you know, like when you start from a full cup, it's very easy to like serve. It's very easy to give. It's very easy to be in that joyous state or like of sharing.
Yes.
Because you are resourced, because you allow this resource, because you allow this help to come to you. But this is the thing, we have never really learned how to get that. What does that look like? We only like in our cultures or like societally, we only know as women to just give, and that is the nurturing mother and the nurturing woman and the nurturing, I don't know, and anything else seems to be not good or not
Bad.
or bad. Exactly. I love that. Like, yeah. So
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there is something here that speaks to what happens is, you know, if I get it or if I take this thing and somebody else needs it more, then it's greedy. You know, then all of those things that come up, that's just greed. And all of that, it doesn't have to be greed. It can be you just saying, I'm going to take this and then I'm going to do something bountiful with it. I'm going to take it and I'm going to do something bountiful. There is no greed in that. The greed is like, I'm taking everything, I'm giving nothing.
yeah,
That's greed, right? So
totally.
we have to be really mindful about how we interpret things as well. And yeah, and the story, obviously, as we've talked about, the stories we tie to that thing. So others need it more than I do. So when I get it, what can I do with it? How can I help those others that I'm thinking about?
Big question. And also it opens up so much possibility for you and for your circle, for the people around you, for your community. So, and
Yeah.
I would also say, well, if not you, then who? Because you might be the one with a vision, you might be the one with other resources that can actually make this a big deal,
Yeah.
as opposed to somebody else that doesn't have the vision or doesn't have the resources or whatever, you know. So
Absolutely. And I just want to tie this to something because I was watching I don't know how many people watch it. Anyway, I love stories that inspire me, that lift me up, and I see people do amazing stuff. And I was watching Extreme Home Makeover, the American edition. And you know, this family, and they'd been fostering children. I can't remember 30 odd that they'd fostered over the years, and they actually ended up adopting, I think, 5 plus their own daughter. So they had a house of 6 kids. in a house that was falling to pieces, and you know, that wasn't fit for purpose, you know, that wasn't fit for 6 children and 2 adults who were still trying to foster people through. Anyway, so they get the extreme makeover, and they have this amazing house built for them. And I'm just like, they served, and then they opened, they allowed themselves to receive something massive. And they were just like, you know, not in my life, in my head, could I have imagined having this home, this space. But now that we have it, you know, we're so thankful for all the people that supported it. But now we can foster more children. So they were already in that state of recycling, right? We have received abundantly. And now that's going to allow us to do more wonderful and brilliant things. And, you know, I kind of, you know, that's such a great program, by the way. If ever you want a lift, go watch that. But it's seeing that cycle, people who are doing things mainly unnoticed by the vast majority, but somebody gets to see it, and then something life-changing happens, and they don't just say, oh good, we're all good now, thank you very much, close the door, off we go. It's like, okay, now we can text what we were doing before. Wow, how powerful is that? How powerful is that? So don't close those doors, don't close down those opportunities thinking they need to be somewhere else. Take it and then see how you can 10x it.
Yeah, absolutely. That is such a powerful way of closing today's live one as well, because I think that really speaks to every person that can understand the abundance mindset, but also how abundance works, because it is there and it is for all of us. So, you know, just accept it with grace.
Yes, let it in, let it in. It's coming your way for a reason. And here at Permission to Thrive, as we close down, we're always here to help you break through and break free from the stories and narratives that keep you caged.
With grace, not grind.
Correct. With grace, not grind. As always, Evie, thank you so much. Another great week. And for everyone who's tuned in, thank you. Any questions, any thoughts, please, you know, post them. We want to hear.
Absolutely. See you next week. Thank you, Yvonne.
Thank you.
Great, as always.